What is up, guys? Welcome back to another video. My name is Nash, and today I want to cover one of the biggest and best and the only skill that you really need to work in finance. So this is going to be actually the most important, not the only one. I'm lying when I say it's the only one, but this is the most important, right? So it's going to be data analysis. So a lot of people, they have the education, they have their bachelor's degree, they have their master's degree, and they go and work in finance, and they still have a hard time getting used to the work or learning the new skills that are needed to work as maybe a financial analyst. Now, the problem is you don't have any data analysis skills, right? You need data analysis skills in order to succeed in finance. And also, a lot of people hate their jobs because, you have to learn all this, how to manipulate data and things like that. And it doesn't even matter where you work. Some people are investment bankers. You have corporate finance people. You have, nonprofit finance. You have people that work in financial planning, people that work, with financial advisors. Now, we all have one thing in common, which is data, right? That's finance. We use data to solve problems, to provide solutions, right? So in order to provide those solutions, we have to find the answers, and the answers are going to be within the data. So we have to manipulate the data in order to come up with answers, and you have to be able to read the data in order to explain it to someone else who needs an answer, right? So that's where knowing accounting and some skills is going to come in handy. But the most important part is knowing how to manipulate this data, how to read this data. So I've seen a lot of people take I've taken them as well, financial analysis, financial analyst course. Basically teaches you the same thing as a data analysis course is going to teach you, right? But it's going to be less because it's restricted to a financial analyst, right? Like some of the things you would see on a day-to-day basis. But I recommend that you take a data analysis course, right? I don't know any good ones, but I recommend that you take a data analysis course. And I'm not going to endorse any course, but go ahead and take a data analysis course because you're going to learn so much more that you can apply to your position, whether you're investment banker, you're a financial analyst. That is really going to help you. Now, what are these courses going to, teach you that's different from being a financial analyst, right? From taking a financial analyst course. So one of the biggest things I learned is going to be, the process of, you can't just say, some of the courses will start, if you're taking a financial analyst course, it will start at you're in Microsoft Excel. This is the data that you have. This is how you create an income statement from this data. This is how you do this. You compare the data sets, things like that. Now, if you're taking a data analysis course, it's going to start from, there's steps of these things like where are you going to find the data, right? Let's say your boss asks you to find the revenue that the computer mouse is brought in 2019, right? You have to ask yourself, where am I going to find this data, right? When it comes to where you can find the data, maybe you have to log into a database, or maybe you have to ask a manager, maybe you have to reach out to different departments to get that data, right? So that's going to be one of the steps as to where are you going to get the data. Now, the next question is going to be how. How are you going to get this data? Is the data going to be emailed to you? So it's really important to know how you're going to be able to get the data from point A to point B. Now, once you have the data, what are you going to do with the data? So most of the time when you get the data, it is in different formats, right? So sometimes you might get, more information than you need. Sometimes you might get the information might be arranged in a way that you don't need. So you have to rearrange this data, which is also known as data cleanup, right? So you're cleaning up the data in order to keep the things you want. And one of the things I learned is never delete the original data. So Microsoft Excel, always make a copy and change the copy so you can always have the original data as a backup just in case you mess up. So that's the biggest thing, cleaning up the data. So a data analytics course is going to teach you how to clean up the data, how to keep the things you want. You can use pivot tables. There's so many tools you can use to arrange the data. And you can even change the formatting of the data, the date formats and things like that. Most important thing, clean up the data, which is also arranging the data in a way that is going to be helpful to you. All right, so now that you have cleaned up the data, maybe you're using Microsoft Excel, you have to actually process the data. So processing the data is the process of finding solutions, right? This is where the difference different tools are going to come in, right? You have Microsoft Excel, which is the biggest. So you have to learn Microsoft Excel, and a lot of these data analytics courses and financial analyst courses, they do a really, really great job of focusing on Microsoft Excel, because that is the tool you're going to be using. You go to corporate America, you go to small companies, you go to, if you want to be an entrepreneur, you have to know how to use Microsoft Excel. It is the biggest tool that is used in finance, right? It allows you to do so much. It's so powerful. So that is where you're going to be cleaning up the data. You're going to be rearranging the data. You're going to be processing the data. For the next part is going to be, once you're done, rearranging the data, it makes sense now, right? The data makes sense. You have the revenues, you have the things that you're looking for. Now, that is where, the skills like accounting, skills like just knowing things, that are related to finance, or knowing economics and things like that is going to work, right? So let's say you have your results here, which are in numbers, right? You have to be able to explain it, right? What is the data showing me? What is the data? Maybe you're explaining to someone who has no clue how to use Microsoft Excel. So you have to be able to explain, like, what is that data they're looking at on the screen. Maybe you're a financial advisor and you're building a portfolio for someone who does not know anything about investments, right? And then you show them the risk of having this stock in the portfolio and the benefits of having this, and the projected returns and things like that. And you show them the numbers, like, what is this? How did you come up with this? And what if I did this? You have to be able to explain the data. Now, that's why you have to, if you'll be working in investments, even though you might have the data analytics skills, you also want to have, those investment skills, right? You have to be able to explain the numbers. If you're going to be working in corporate finance, you have to be able to understand accounting and corporate language, and kind of like, things that are used in corporate and how things are explained. All right, so that is going to allow you to explain the data to someone. Now, sometimes if you work in corporate banking, whatever, it might be a project where you are finding, different things, you're solving a lot of problems. And at the end of the project, you have to present this to people, right? So if you are going to be presenting the data, you need tools to present the data. So that is where, the visual tools come in. You can create graphs in Microsoft Excel, and there's many other tools that are used to kind of like visualize data, which is going to make it more appealing to people that, don't really care about the data. They just want to know the results. Maybe, you're doing a projection report of how much revenue is going to be made in the year 2025, right? And they don't want to see the numbers. They just want to see the graphs, that kind of like explain things so you can create a graph in Excel. There's a lot of tools you can use that create those visuals. So that is pretty much it when it comes to this video. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. If you have any other suggestions, if you want to add anything else to this, make sure to leave it in the comment section below. And also, if you're going to take away anything from this video, go and learn data analytics. If you're going to be working in finance, it's going to help you so much. It's going to make your job a lot easier. Thank you so much for watching. I'll see you guys on the next one. Peace.